Hey everybody, it's me Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant based diet going for yourselves today, and then nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and to get with alkalinity, then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically, set attention to your mind, and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to Great Days. So today I'm going to talk on looking within and how this is very, very fundamental step for coming into unification or even self-realization. All right, so let's get into this. Um, so looking within is very important once again, because once you start looking within your being or within yourself, you it's very, very easy for you to kind of come into a certain state while you're coming within yourself, or while you're starting to look within more often. And that certain state is a feeling of I guess you can say like maybe self-love, or you start to feel yourself connected with everything a little bit more when you look within, right? By this I mean that whenever you're constantly fixing your awareness outside of yourself, it makes it a little difficult for you to get into a certain state of awareness, right? Which in that certain state of awareness, you can easily understand the interconnectedness of all things, right? And that state of awareness, it comes with looking within yourself more, because the more you look within yourself, the more that you begin to know yourself, right? And it's that simple. The more that you know yourself, the more you are empowering yourself, and the more energy you have, the more permeated you could be throughout the system, right? The system being everything, um, and the deeper you can go within yourself, it can reach a certain state where you begin to have very, very deep unifying experiences, right? From that feeling of being interconnected, um, and the deeper that you can go into those experiences of total unification, and even ego dissolution, you can you kind of get lost in that, which is what you want to happen, because the whole thing is that you want to have an experience that is going to allow you to transcend the ego completely, right? And you can use psychedelics to do this if you want to do it like quicker, if you want to be faster about it. But if you just want to do it without anything, then all you really got to do is look within yourself, right? And slowly that whole process is going to go on itself, um, because that's the whole process of life. And everybody is coming into that state very, very slowly, in accordance with their own energetical signaturing, and the geometry of their individuality, you know. So there's many methods to be able to do this, but it all involves going looking more within or deeper within yourself, right? So that it's very fundamental to look within yourself, right? Don't get caught up too much out in is with what is out in the world, because the more that you get caught up with what is out in the world, it can kind of like it can kind of paint false egos on you, or false ego on you, which you can heavily identify with for long periods of time. Unless it's really worth it to you, then do it, right? Do whatever you want, but looking within is most definitely needed, because this is something that happens to everybody, whether or ego dissolution is also something that happens to everybody as well, because you die, everybody dies, right? And that is the dissolution of the ego. And that's something that is part of nature. That is something that is natural to everybody. So the ego dissolution is something that has to happen to everybody, right? And it does happen to everybody. It's not. It's something that is happening, right? So it's you cannot avoid it. Um, and that is the death of the ego, and it's not really a death to what we have been taught, because what we were taught that death is already it's just wrong, right? But what it really is you are just shedding the body, which is just one you're shedding the body, which is like a vehicle where you, as a higher dimensional being, can emerge from, you know, and it's kind of like you start another life, you can reincarnate, or you can choose not to reincarnate into another physical body. It depends on how heavy your karmic bondage is, how bonded you are to the karma that you're holding as a mental body, right? And if you hold a lot, then chances are unconsciously you're gonna reincarnate into another carnal body, a fleshy body, or if you're able to dissolve away the bondage of the karmic body, then you can kind of avoid having to reincarnate again, but what death is it's just you're stepping into another dimension, right? There's no such thing as death, because death does not exist, right? If life is supposed to be existing and death is the opposite, then death is non-existent, which means it doesn't exist, right? So there's only life, eternal life. And when you shed the body, when you die, it kind of just it's just like you're starting on another plane, or another level of consciousness once again. But they go in and out of each other, right? The many different planes of awareness or states of consciousness. Um, but the more that you look within, the more that you can dive into the knowing, the eternal knowing. And with the connection to this, it makes it you can gain power, and with the power you can actually you can power yourself for many different things, you know, and eventually it can come to a point where those deep states of unification can are going to lead you to self-realization, which is also knowing thyself, or coming to know thyself, right? Is self-realization. So the more that you are, the more self-realized you are, the more educated you are, right? You don't need institutional systems purely because these have been teaching knowledges that are binding you on many different levels, right? And these knowledges aren't the most pure knowledges that can literally just be pulled out of the ether, which are supposed to just be free. Um, but the way that the systems of slavery are set up is that you can't actually pull these knowledges that are supposed to be free for everybody to you anymore, right? Unless you get back in harmony with nature, then it's very easy to do this, and you won't actually need to look towards an educational, no, not an educational system, an institutional system for your education, but it will then come from within yourself without having to be taught purely, right? And it's literally that simple. That is probably going to be the most purest education that you can find because it's going to come from within yourself, and the deeper you go into that, then you find that it's a network of self-realized beings beyond all space and time, which are all on the same type of on the same level of consciousness, or higher and lower, or just higher. And you can look towards the other avatars, and you can ask them for help, or you can you can just do you can go with the flow, because you're a totally different geometry as well. So you can't actually mimic anybody incomplete because you got to find your own flow. Like you're not going to see two rivers flowing the same, or even two flowers of the same species exactly identical, because they're going to be different. So you can't really mimic anybody either. You can only just express, right, out of a harmonious relationship with nature. And the deeper you're able to go within yourself, the more that you are going to begin to know thyself, right? And knowing thyself is power. Um, and the more energy you have, the more that you can come into a higher consciousness through that, right? And it's very, very fundamental for you to look within yourself, right? It's not something hard at all. It's literally something you're already doing. You just got to put more attention into the aspects or the areas where you're already looking within yourself, right? Then you make more effort towards that little process, um, and then you're gonna go deeper into that. You're gonna go deeper into that, and then and you kind of get into the spiritual journey, Um, but that's pretty much gonna be it for today's video. So I do thank everybody for watching once again. Peace out, one love, and have a great evening.